Welcome to My Kitchen, My Space. Um, Glad to see you all here. Whoever has a TV playing, if you wouldn't mind muting yourself, that'd be great. It's giving a little background noise.
Mute. Mute.
Not me.
No?
No, I'm not
Oh,
either.
I think we got it. I think we got it. So, um, Tara isn't in today, just in case you weren't aware. My name is Lynn, and I'm going to be I guess we'll call it facilitating this discussion. I have quite a few notes to make and to mention, but I really do want this to be a discussion. And in keeping in those parameters, I thought of sectioning the discussion. So we'll go first with discussing organization. So let's go from the point at which you have your groceries. How do you organize it into your kitchen and put everything away so that you can find it and know what it is a week from now? So that'll be the first section. Let's do organization. Then let's do cooking. And then finally, we'll do cleaning up. So for organization, my notes are rather brief, but substantial. Clear containers are a really big plus for organizing things, especially in your refrigerator. I tend to, it's called decanting when you put things in other containers and you take them out of their box. I tend to do that just because some boxes feel like they're the exact same shape and size, and if it's not a color thing, then I really do have to go get a magnifier to figure out what I'm holding. So if I put it in something where I can see the actual object, I know that this is rice as opposed to my cereal, things like that. So, and again, I want this to be a discussion. So anybody weigh in at any point if you have a secret technique that you use for organizing. Another one is for canned goods. I don't do this, but I thought it was a really good idea to mark certain things with rubber bands. So in order to tell your canned vegetables from your canned chili, from your, I don't know, canned soup, you could put a rubber band on certain items or space the rubber band certain ways, put 2 on this one, 3 on that one. I thought that was a really good idea for organizing soups and things like, or, canned goods. Let's see. Did somebody want to say something? Or just coming in? I think just coming in. Uh, besides that, for me, and for I think most people with visual issues, keeping things in the same place is pretty crucial. Um, all of my fruit, they're all together in the fridge. All of my drinks are together in the fridge. So when I go looking for the one thing, I know the area to go to. My kitchen is pretty much organized the same way. All of the plates are in the same spot. All of the glasses are in the same spot. And I tend to put things where I need them. So the cooking spoons are by the stove, not over by the microwave. I think some of these things are pretty basic, but I'm going from the standpoint of somebody who's not organized but has a visual impairment. These are things they might not know to do. So that I think is a really good one. And if you live with someone that is sighted, explaining to them that it'd be great if they learned to put things where they picked them up from and to put things back in the place where they got it. Because if they move the scissors, like mine are on the side of my refrigerator in a little magnet basket, if they move those, they're gone to me forever. I'm never gonna find those scissors again. So returning things to the place where they were is rather crucial. I even, in my organization, fit, I have labeled everything in my pantry, in my fridge. Everything's got labels like on the shelves to say where things go so that if someone visits and they go in my refrigerator or my pantry, they know where to put things back once they've used them because I find
Good.
that incredibly helpful. I no discussion. Okay.
Oh,
So
if you
yes,
want me
please.
to, this is Sandy. I'll weigh in.
Yes,
I,
yes,
I
jump in.
I label the edges of pantry shelves and refrigerator shelves just like you. For one thing that I don't want to decant is something like half and half or
Mm.
heavy cream. So I have taken to putting when there's two, containers that are exact same shape and almost exactly the same labeling, one rubber band on the half and half and two on the heavy cream because it's got twice as much or more fat in it. Um, yes, and
No, that's good. I thought of it for the soups, but not for, yeah, those containers would feel the same unless you know what it says.
and for decanting, you mentioned and hopefully I can get this on a screen, plastic containers for things.
Yes.
So I love to reuse things. I think this was originally instant decaf coffee, but to pour my cereal or nuts into that. Hang on. Hands aren't working too well. It's hard to
No
unscrew
worries.
hard to unscrew things when you got one hand working. But I have this thing that's originally called, is this on screen? Can you see it? It's a funnel that's for canning. So when you're pouring things into quart jars, when you're canning and it's really hot and you're trying to get the liquid into this wide mouth
Oh,
funnel
nice.
really helps get things, when I'm pouring nuts, almonds or walnuts into a plastic jar for,
Hmm.
and I love the expression decanting from the plastic bag that's so annoying to try to re-zip the
Yes.
the
Get the
plastic
track
jar
right.
with the
Yeah.
lid is
Hmm.
much better. So that's my 2 cents worth for that. Thank you.
No, very good. Thank you for sharing. I like the idea of marking things in the fridge
Melissa
because, sorry.
said, "Hey, this is Melissa. I have some recent experience with this."
Hi, Melissa. You're a little choppy, but I think we can understand.
Okay, sorry, we're on the move. We are coming
Oh,
back from a visit to my two almost totally blind family members in Florida, and I am always the lucky one who gets to clear out the fridge
ugh.
because literally it goes in, it never comes out. Right? It if it gets lost in the fridge, it's going to grow fuzziness in the fridge.
Oh no.
So it's my lucky job. They won't let the housekeeper do it. They won't let a friend do it. And they'll literally sit by them and say, "No, you can't throw that out. It's fine. It's fine. It's not too old." But for me, they just leave me to do it. And it gets to the point.
Uh-oh. Melissa,
Uh-oh.
did we lose you? She said they were on the move. Hopefully she'll be able to chime back in a little
Poor
bit.
thing, she's talking
Sorry.
away.
I wanted to hear the end of it. Um,
Maybe I could mention I've tried to keep
Is there a
track of
sticky?
expiration dates. No, I was going to say while we're waiting for her, I was just wondering if you have any tips for keeping track of expiration dates on these packages.
so I take a Sharpie if I'm in that mode. Typically when stuff comes in, that's when I try to mark it so I know what it is later, like I said, a week later, or in the case of an expiration date, perhaps months later. I mark things with a Sharpie. So like on canned goods, I'll just put I mean I assume I'm using it this year. So I'll usually just put the date and the month and the day
Right.
really large. And it's in my notes, but a really good app for doing that, if you can't see it, is the Be My Eyes app where you get a
Oh, yeah.
volunteer.
Ah, very good.
It's a great thing to call and just ask them, hey, when does this milk expire? When does this yogurt expire?
Right.
and have a Sharpie at the ready to write it really big if you need to.
But
Or even position it in your fridge if
right.
that works for you. Hmm.
I get so frustrated because even with the vision that I have, which is fairly good compared to them, uh, I can't always read some of those because the markings get smudged off
Yes.
or they're like silver on white or light gray on darker gray. And like what
Hmm.
kind of label is that? And it's little micro print. So we can't always see the expiry information. But for me, when in doubt, if it's behind something that's expired, out it goes. Um, and
That's probably
and
a good rule of thumb.
if there are like literal example, 4 jars of
I know it was going to be 4 jars.
radish,
Hmm.
three just that's just my rule. If it goes, it goes. We also expanded their pantry space. We expanded it by about 8 feet in length and 2 feet in depth. But we got Lazy Susans to put on the
Mm.
shelving. And that way, everything can turn around.
I hear where you're going with this one. I put my lazy Susans in
Filter
the
table for
corners.
everything. Yes, nothing goes back into the corners. It's nothing goes on the shelf itself. Everything goes on the Lazy Susan. Then you can
Hmm.
turn it around, and each Lazy Susan has a purpose, right? It's soup stuff or it's cereal stuff, whatever
Oil.
it is. It's yes. And we also did that with the spice cabinet because they love to cook. They have every spice, and frequently spices go in, they never come out, they just buy more.
Yeah.
So I went through, cleared out all the spices, and I got these little pull out shelves. They're little bitty. It's like the pull out shelves you would have in a cabinet, but the
Hmm.
size for spices. So now they can pull it out. The spice stays in the same place. They can put a nice large print label on the jar.
Oh, very good.
I
Super
have
good.
those too. I have those. I like those.
Yes.
Very good.
But
Very good.
Lazy Susans and those pull out shelves are super helpful.
So like
Yeah.
I put my baking spices in one of them and I put my, like savory spices in another.
Yeah, we're a little more, let's just say, obsessive than that, and we alphabetize them.
Oh, wow. But
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
that's a good way to find things. Like, you know what
Mm-hmm.
area to go to if you're looking for saffron or
Mm-hmm.
something.
Right. Right. Okay.
And the lazy Susans on top of, like, I love the idea of putting all the same things on one. They're
Mm-hmm.
great just space wise in corners and above my head, like the cabinet. I'm looking at it now. The cabinet that's above the oven or the
Mm-hmm.
stove, that I'm only like 5'2", so I'm a bit short. But a lazy Susan there, I can just turn it. I can still use that cabinet, but
Because you can reach
I
it.
exactly I can bring the thing I need to the front because I've got a lazy Susan, and they come in various sizes. So the one I have in there, it takes up almost the whole cabinet. It's huge, but
Yeah.
I that means I could reach every single thing that I put in there because it's on that lazy Susan.
That's right.
So
And it's
thank
it's nice if you can find one that's got a lip on the outside.
yes.
It helps to keep things from falling off into the back of the cabinet.
Yes. So
So not
you're
yeah,
that's a great segue into the cooking portion. So let's now, I mean, we're still probably going to get more information about organization as we go on, and that's fine to go back and forth. But when you mentioned having the lip on the lazy Susan, one of the things about getting ready to cook something, if you can corral everything that you need for that cooking experience into one place. So a tray is ideal. A cookie sheet serves as a tray. Put everything on there. The spices that you're going to need, the utensils that you're going to need, your measuring cups, the I don't know, whatever you're cutting or cooking, like if everything is on there, you lessen the risk of things rolling off or losing a knife and, having to feel around for it. Like if it's corralled, you kind of you have a base to work from. And I found that to be very helpful when trying to make anything. If it's all there together, if the eggs are there, if it's pretty much like one of those cooking shows when everything's already set out,
Mm-hmm.
it's so much
Mm-hmm.
easier than running over to the fridge to grab this and then
Right.
finding the measuring cup and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, just a thought. um
So we
and
we have
go
gotten
ahead.
a couple of things like that from the Blind Kitchen, and I know that the Prevention of Blindness Society has hosted events with the Blind Kitchen before, but a
Mhm.
couple of the things that she has at the store are it's kind of like a little tiny 4 compartment muffin cup tray. And the cups come out. So you measure into the little cup and set them in the tray so they stay organized and where you know they are. So
Oh,
picture
very nice.
picture a
Oh,
little
I
four
haven't
cup
seen
muffin
that.
tray,
Yeah.
and the cups are for measuring out ingredients in a preparation phase of cooking.
So, but again, it's all right there together. That's
Exactly.
actually nice. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, I know what the guys also do. My brother loves to cook, and I go looking for the 1 teaspoon measuring spoons. And I can never find them on the big hoop of measuring spoons because he
Hmm.
takes those off. Those are his most commonly used ones. And he's like, I don't need to figure it out. I just reach for the one that's by itself. And
Oh,
that makes a huge difference for him.
that makes sense. And that is, I think the number one rule is whatever you do in the kitchen, it needs to work for you. You're the one that's using it. So if it works for you, that would drive me nuts because I'm an organizational person and I want everything together. So I can't have that one lone measuring spoon away from all
Right.
its brothers and sisters, but it works for your brother. That's what he needs to do. Yeah.
Now, for cooking, we also recently had to replace their oven and cooktop. And we
Mm,
got an induction system. So it's not the electric hobs. My mom has burned herself so many times and so badly by just putting her hand on the stovetop, checking if it's
mm,
hot. Like, well, yep, it's hot. Um, but
don't
it's
do that.
got GE will provide a set for a price, not high, a set of labeling bump dots or braille labels or high contrast labels in the whole set. They provide them all. And it's enough to label all the appliances in your house. I think it's like $19. And it's basic stuff like go and stop and which thing this is. And those are really helpful for them because they can tell like, wait, which burner is this? Which number is this? So
Oh,
that helps
that
them
is great.
orient themselves. They also have placed, and this is from the Blind Kitchen, a little silicon thing that fits across the front edge of the
Yes,
rack in the oven,
yes.
and it's
That
bright
that's on
red.
my notes.
It is fantastic. We have one at home. It takes more of them than come in a single kit because you have to cut it to fit
Hmm.
your oven rack.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to figure out how many you need. But those are great.
I believe they're sold in 22-inch and 24-inch, the ones that I saw. But what she's describing, you put it on the rack, like she said. But when you reach for things, it's silicone, so it doesn't conduct heat. You could actually touch it. So if you brush it with your arm or
Oh.
the top of your hand, you don't get burned. And that's like I think what gets a lot of people is they're reaching for the one thing, but they touch another part of the oven.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, which in the cooking section, since we're here, the top three things that usually scare people that have vision loss in the kitchen is getting burned, I think number one, and
Mm-hmm.
well,
Cutting
either
themselves.
getting burned or getting cut.
Mm-hmm.
Take your pick. And then the third would likely be fires. So anything you can do to decrease any of those things happening, the fire is pretty simple. Well, not simple, but you should have a fire extinguisher. I think we all know that we should. If you don't, Amazon. You should have a fire extinguisher, and you should have it where you need it, which is going to be in the kitchen, not in the hall closet. Not, I mean, if you want to keep them spread out over the house, that's fine, but there should definitely be one somewhere in your kitchen where it's accessible and you should know how to use it. There is no time to grab a magnifier and read instructions
Right.
when there's a fire happening. Learn how to use it when you get it and refresh yourself on how to use it every, I don't know, season, every blue moon. Just know how to use that. Keep it somewhere like handy. The other,
Even think about getting a second one so that you
mhm,
can practice into a trash can or something, because
that's a good idea.
it is no time to skimp. It is
No.
time to have the ready ability to do it.
Yep. Yep. And then the other option is fire blankets, which I don't know if you guys have seen. They run so many
Mhm,
commercials for them,
mhm,
but
mhm.
you can keep that folded up in a drawer in the kitchen, and you just pull it out and literally throw it on top of the fire. I don't know who's somebody's either got a TV or conversations running in the background. If you'd be so kind as to mute so we can hear each other. Thank you so much. Hopefully,
Let me see if I can see if it's lighting up.
can you got it?
Let me see if I
I,
can tell. Now they're quiet.
I think we got it. So
Okay.
fire blankets, that's similar to the fire extinguisher, but you can just throw this over a fire if you're brave enough. Get it before it gets out of hand. This is something that's handy and you could keep it like, in a drawer or somewhere safe, but that's the fire. So back to cutting or burning. Let's stick with burning for a while. So the guards on the oven racks, that's a really good one to avoid getting burned. Another would be, instead of, like, oven gloves are great, of course, but if you get the ones that are for barbecuing, they tend to be made of a heavier material, like a suede sometimes, and they go a lot longer. I don't know why, but they can almost go up to your elbow, maybe because on a grill you're reaching further. But for me, I just feel a little better protected when I'm really covered, because then I'm not so worried about hitting my elbow, or something
Mhm,
on
mhm.
some little piece that I didn't see. Um, when you're cooking stovetop, the bump dots that Michelle mentioned are a great idea. And not just on marking where, like, of course you can put one where there's on the knob for low heat, one on medium heat, one on high heat, so you can feel kind of, and get your orientation. But also on the stovetop itself, if you don't have like an induction, but you have like a way of marking so that you could put your hand down and kind of get a feel for where things are. If a bump dot helps you orientate that way, put it there. I um hopefully, like Michelle's mom, you said she reached for the burner to see if it was on. I do use my other senses, so I do tend to stick my hand out, but I tend to stick it out high over a
Right.
burner just to see if I feel heat. If it's a gas stove, you can use your hearing. If it's, you know, if you have good hearing, you can kind of hear a hissing on top of the flame itself, but I can kind of get an idea of which burner is going without having to lean out or feel it.
So
So,
another
mhm.
possibility is to, if you have a smart speaker, you can ask your Amazon friend to remind you in X number of minutes to turn off the burner.
That's a good one. Mine, I turn the oven light on and it doesn't get to go off until I've checked every knob just to make sure that they're all off. Because that's, yeah, that fire
Mhm,
fear.
mhm.
Um, and that can be anything. It can be, I don't know, anything that just makes you remember. So I don't get to,
Mhm.
for me, the light works because I like complete darkness in my house at night when I sleep. So that light will bug me. It's that reminder you have to check so you can turn that light off. So if you can
Mhm.
find something that you can tie to another activity just to keep you safe in that mode, use it. Use that. I'm trying to think more things about not burning yourself. So we did the oven guards, we did the handles. If you turn the handles outward from the burners, I know we were always taught to turn them in so that a little kid couldn't come by and knock it in.
Mhm.
But if you
Mhm.
turn them outward, you run a much less risk of knocking it over yourself or spilling something. So yeah, that's it's always recommended that you turn the handles outward when cooking and cook on the back burners. A lot of people don't think to do that. We're so used to just automatically cooking on the one that's closest to us. Go back so then you can lean over and not worry about touching some part of your clothing or yourself to a burner that's on. That's plus the mess stays towards the back and not on your floor.
Right.
Um,
And if you have a choice about
mhm.
what kind of cooking surface you're using, make sure the controls are on the front and not on the back.
Definitely, definitely. Yes. That anything that keeps you from leaning over something that's hot is a good thing. So, yes, definitely do that. Mm, okay, so that's more like cutting. So I guess let's scoot into cutting though, like the other fear of getting cut.
Right. Lynn, one more
Go
thing
ahead.
about this is Sandy. One more thing about the expiration dates. Fire extinguishers have expiration dates, and it's usually, I don't know, 3 years, but you can keep track of that. And one way to use, if I think my husband finally let me set off one that had expired before we threw it away because I said, I've never practiced using one of these. So
Mm,
that's a great opportunity to use one. But I absolutely agree with Michelle. Practicing so that you know how to use it is very important.
Okay. It's almost always Michelle. When people mix up my name, it's Melissa.
Oh,
Melissa, sorry.
Words. No
I think
worries.
I
sorry.
called you. I probably started that. I think I called you Melissa or Michelle first. Melissa, sorry. Um, so so thank you for that, Sandy. Yeah, the expiration dates on fire extinguishers is important. As far as I guess scooting into now avoiding cutting yourself. There are well, no, actually one more quick thing on the hot liquids. There are it's called a liquid leveler, I think, or measure. It's a device that you put inside of your cup if you're pouring hot liquids. uh, it will beep when it hangs into your
Mhm.
cup, and it will
Mhm.
beep really loudly when hot liquid
Mhm.
hits the prongs so you don't
Mhm.
overfill. And this is great for tea or coffee.
Mhm.
Um, the other thing on that one is if you are drinking coffee or a darker tea, putting it in a white mug or a white cup is helpful because that contrast, sometimes that's enough to let you know when you're, near the top. But I really do like that leveler as far as not spilling over and burning yourself.
Well, what I do, kind of
Hmm.
non-tech for that, I'm a tea drinker, so I put the bag in the mug and I take the tea kettle with the hot water
Hmm.
and I take them both and pour it over the sink. So then, and then once it goes over, then I know it's at the top. And, so.
Yes, that's a good idea. Another one,
Mm-hmm.
if you're using the tea kettle, you can fill the cup with the water first,
Mm-hmm.
pour it into the kettle, heat the water, and then
So you
the
know how
amount you're
much it is.
pouring is
Right,
the
right,
amount that's going to fit
right.
in the cup.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's another one for that.
So
And then
this
another safety one when you're pouring hot liquid is to put the cup either in the sink or on the counter, but don't hold it with your one
Yes.
hand because hot water has an amazing capacity to splash onto your fingers.
Yes. And then a dropped cup would splash onto your feet. So, yes.
You don't want that.
No, we do
so
not want that.
those are all super accessible ways of keeping the water where it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
If you are upgrading your faucet or have any reason to do that, there are smart faucets, and you can ask them to dispense 1 cup or 1 tablespoon or 3 ounces, whatever, at certain degrees, right? Deliver me 1 cup at 100 degrees, or deliver the 3 ounces at 105 degrees, whatever you want. It can do it. Um, and that, from everything from a teaspoon to, a gallon, it's easy for it to do that.
That's a great point. That's a really that would be awesome. That I have not encountered yet. I don't have that faucet. I still have to. I live like a caveman. Um, but let's move on, I guess, then to cutting safety measures as far as cutting things. So I already mentioned corralling everything when you go to cook, like placing your knives on the tray, things like that. But let's go with technique. So they have an item, I think it's called an onion pick, but it looks very much like a hair pick, like for an afro back in the day. And you
Mm-hmm.
stab the fruit or vegetable or whatever it is that you're cutting with it, and then you hold that and you use the blade to cut in between. It's a wider pick. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe 4 prongs, 4 or 5 prongs, but it'll dig down into whatever item you're cutting. That's one way of getting around actually holding something. But when you do hold things, and I feel like this isn't just a visually impaired thing, but this is a for everybody thing. Always like do the bear claw or anything where you don't have your fingertips exposed. Like you knuckle it, you hold it
Mm-hmm.
with your knuckles. And they even have knuckle guards that they sell, so that should the blade hit up against them, it won't cut you. Um, Another good knife technique is when you are washing them, put them in a bowl so they're not just floating around in the bottom of your sink or like blade up or anything. If they're in the bowl, you know to approach that with caution, but you can wash all the other dishes and be fine. Um, when you're cutting, if you take a moment away from the cutting board, place the knife blade under the cutting board. Like don't just leave it out and about where it can,
Mm-hmm.
fall
Mm-hmm.
or get dropped or knocked over. Put
Mm-hmm.
it under the board. Secure it at all times, like especially if it's not in your hand, you need to know exactly where it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Um,
this is Melissa
mhm.
again. The Blind
Yeah.
Kitchen has a couple of gadgets that have made a real difference in terms of cutting for us. First of all, a cut glove. I don't know if you guys have mentioned those.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Um,
not yet. That's a good
Super
one.
handy. You can't cut through it. It's like a knit glove, but it's knit of like Kevlar or something like that, and you just can't cut
Mhm.
through it. But they also have a knife scrubbing thing. And picture it as a scrub brush folded in on itself. So it's kind of U-shaped, and you hold it in your hand, and the scrubby parts face each other between the sides of the U. So you just run the knife through the scrubby parts, and it's nowhere near your hand. It's got a big solid piece of plastic between you and the knife. So that knife scrubbing thing is very nice. And she also has a kind of a knife corral kind of thing that she uses to keep her knives, um, when they're ready to be washed, to keep them separate from other things so that they don't get mixed into the sink.
Very nice. So all these things that we're mentioning, I have links for some of them. So at some point, Tara will attach it or we'll put it in the chat, but we'll have some of the links for this. And now I have new links I need to go and look up because the knife scrubber sounds really cool. Like that sounds like a really nice thing to have.
Yeah,
But
I think
these,
her website is The Blind Kitchen,
okay,
probably .com.
okay, okay. Thank you for that.
So Lynn, I have another knife safety thing so that you can't cut yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I can't see when I'm on camera, but can you?
Yeah.
This is sort of a these this knife has it has a wooden handle and then a rounded blade. So you
Mm-hmm.
use it with one hand. These originally I got this because it was billed
Oh.
as a nut chopper, and you could use it in a bowl and chop nuts and whatever. So
Like a knife with a handle, a round crescent shaped knife with the handle on the top.
yes. And then being kind of one-handed for the past few weeks because of my wrist, I was like, how am I going to cut my fruit for breakfast or something like that? And I'm like, oh, I've got that nut chopper that's one-handed. And then I was trying to figure out how to corral the stuff I was chopping. And I have this little cutting board. It's kind of, I don't know, 8 inches by 6 inches, and it has a lip on the edges. Now,
Mm.
if I was trying to cut something, just all the way across, it's annoying because a big knife blade keeps hitting the lip and doesn't cut what's on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
But with my nut chopper, one-handed, I have my tiny little chopping board and my one-handed knife, and then it's just awesome. I felt so smart to pull these out of the back of the drawer, so to speak, and put them to use. But I got to thinking about it. This is a way you're just using one hand, and the other hand is nowhere near the knife blade, and it won't get cut. And the hand you're using is way far above the knife blade too.
So similar
So,
to Sandy's two items. So she's got the rocker blade from Pampered Chef. I've gotten like it's a knife and it's got a handle, but the blade is wavy. So like if you were cutting a cucumber, you're going to get um uh like ridges, like a crinkle fry or something like that. So you can also rock, like Sandy's talking about, but then you get a cute cut as well. And
Hey, Bert.
I also have a small little cutting board like Sandy's talking about, but on the bottom it's got suction cups so it won't slip, like little silicone suctions, so it won't slip.
that you bring up a really good point. Like even under a cutting board, I have one, it doesn't tend to slip, but it's always good. You can put just a dish towel underneath it to keep it stable because you don't need things moving on you
Hmm.
when you're using them. So that's a really good point. To make something non-slip is
Hmm.
ideal. And Sandy, I couldn't see it clearly, but it seemed like the knife you were holding up, it reminded me of a pizza cutter. Is it kind of like that? Or am I seeing it wrong?
Well, it doesn't
It's
roll like a pizza cutter,
Yeah, it's
right?
it's like
Yeah.
essentially a half a pizza cutter, but I had also pulled out my pizza cutter to try and cut things, but I ended up using this metal one instead. But yeah,
So
well,
you
my
just go
pizza,
up and down to cut with the one you're talking about.
I rock back and
So
forth.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
rock
Yeah.
the
back
got
and
you.
name
forth.
the name for a blade like that, if you're looking for something like that, is mezzaluna.
Ah,
It's a mezzaluna, and usually they come with a matching curved cutting board with a bowl in it.
Hmm.
oh,
And so
nice.
you just kind of rock around in that bowl every which way, and whatever you cut is cut up.
Very
But
nice.
mezzaluna is the name.
Okay, so I'm gonna move from cooking unless, well, let me mention a few apps. So we had already talked about the Be My Eyes for helping you identify expiration dates, but it's also good for identifying your spices if that is an issue, because I know those jars are truly all the same size and kind of if they're not clear, they definitely look like the same thing. So Be My Eyes is a good one to have. A friend Rachel is using an app that she calls it's Cookie. And it's specifically made for people that are visually impaired, but I think uh, I'm gonna get this wrong, but I believe it has an option where you can tell it the ingredients you have and it can suggest um recipes that you can make with those items, but it also can tell you the exact measurements, and it does all of this audibly, telling you the measurements. Like once you tell, you give it the recipe, you can either download it or scan it, as in like have the app like look at it, and it will repeatedly, you can ask it, how much milk was supposed to go in here when you get to that portion of the recipe, or how long did that have to bake for? What do I need to preheat the oven for? Rachel seems to really enjoy it. So cookie, and it's spelled just like I believe the item that you eat, Cookie. She enjoys that app a lot.
So
Always go ahead.
Alexa will do the same thing for you, Alexa
Gonna say
Plus.
the same
And
thing.
if you
Okay.
shop at Whole Foods, she also knows what you bought recently, and
Wow.
she will suggest recipes that use the groceries you just bought. She'll walk you step by step through the measurements, the temperatures. She'll plan it out for you. For example, last night I needed to cook salmon and pork at the same time, and I said, "How can I cook these in the same oven at the same time?" And she laid it all out for me. She laid out a timeline. Put this in and tell me when you want to start a timer, and then put that in at that 10 minutes in, etc. So she will walk you through the step by step.
So if you're savvy, like in up for it apps, the AI, it's there for helping you cook things. I've seen like the home devices, like it's Google Nest, but it's the one with the video. Like, and Alexa has the same. You can literally show it your pantry and
Alexa
say, "Tell me
Show.
what I can make." Yes, show. Thank you. That's what it's called.
Please try in
Alexa
a little
Show.
while.
Sorry if
Sorry.
whoever I set off. But you can show it your pantry, and just say, what can I make with what's in here, or list out ingredients and say, this is what I've
Yeah.
got, what can we make? And that's any AI. So Google can do that. Siri, I think the upgraded Siri, when you guys get her, she'll be able to do that. And that's Siri AI, which if you didn't know, that's coming for you Apple users. um but yeah, so app wise, there are honestly countless apps that can help. But as far as for the visually impaired, I still lean on Be My Eyes and Seeing AI. They both have AI components if you just don't want to like actually talk to a real individual. But as far as the Be My Eyes, volunteers are always happy to help, like overjoyed to get your call. So please don't ever hesitate to ask for help from someone through that volunteer program.
And Edlin, on the Google, if you say, "Hey Google, let's talk live," it'll open up your camera and you can show it whatever and just converse with it and ask, what does this recipe say? Or, whatever, what's the expiration date on this, and just show it. You
That's
can.
good to know. I didn't know it could use your camera that way. So thank you. Okay, so as we hurdle towards time, I think we're still good for a little bit. Let's talk about, so we talked about organizing, we talked about cooking. Let's quickly touch on the cleaning up part. So I mentioned the one part of putting the knives in the bowl when you're cleaning up, but also I guess it kind of falls under cooking, is when you make your plate, when you put things on your plate, again with the contrast. If I have mashed potatoes on a white plate, I'm gonna miss some of them. Like I'm not gonna get all of my food that way. So if you can, to contrast like any type of color against whatever it is you're eating, I always find that helpful. And if you need to eat off of more than one saucer, you're in your home, it's your kitchen, do things your way. I can put my green beans on the orange saucer, and I can put my mashed potatoes on the red saucer. I can do it any kind of way that I want to. Just so that I have that contrast and I can follow things. But if I am eating on a plate, typically for a person that's visually impaired, we tend to orient by like the face of a clock. So if, let's say you live with a sighted person and they're handing you your plate, it's a really great thing if they could just let you know your protein is at 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock and your, green beans are at 1, apple strudel or whatever is at is at 10. Like, just to get an idea of where things are on the plate kind of helps you maintain that independence. When I'm eating, I tend not to set my silverware down. I do, what do they call it? Continental, I guess, when you just keep the fork and knife in your hand and keep going. Just because that helps me keep track of where things are. Like, I can always touch it with my fork, and understanding, again, it's you in your own space. I'm probably going to make a mess. Things are going to fall off the side of the plate that I didn't catch. It's okay. It happens. But as much as I can, I honestly do want to eat it. So like, I try to keep up with everything, where it is and how much I have. Somebody had suggested that ladling things out with like an ice cream scoop or something, or even just the same spoon. Make sure that everybody gets the same portion sizes. Like, that's a good way to control it so that you don't have a heap of something and a very little bit of something else. Like, an ice cream scoop is a really good one uh, for maintaining that. Does anybody have any thoughts or ideas or want to weigh in on how they're eating and, I don't know, plating food? Okay.
For me, can you hear me?
Hmm. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, for me, the contrast thing is a really big one. And, like I try to use a lot of plasticware because I'm the only visually impaired person in my house. So I have my own red plate specifically because I don't see white background a lot. So I have my own red plate specifically for certain things, and then other things I'll just eat them all individually and I'll just have like 50,000 containers like it's a smorgasbord, but I know what is what.
There you go.
And to
That's,
the
like I
sighted
said, you
people
do
in
what
my
works for
family,
you.
they're like, why do you need so much stuff? Like, but if not, otherwise, my mom, who's sighted, she'll tell me specifically what is what. And I kind of just eat in that order and keep it in mind what is what.
Hmm.
But for the most part, that's what I do. And as far as cleaning up, I try to clean as I go because I can forget sometimes what I'm specifically making. So if I don't clean that specific area, I'll think I'll clean it up and move on. And then my mom comes home and she's like, "Girl, what did you do to my kitchen?" And I'm like, "Oh, I forgot, my bad." And she's like, "Well, you missed this and you missed that, and let me help you." But we're working on the me doing it by myself thing. So, you know.
This is a this is another one where sometimes Be My Eyes, like, they'd be happy to tell you, oh,
Yeah, and
yeah.
I literally did that the other day. I called Be My Eyes and she was like, "Yeah, you missed a whole puddle of this and that." And then my mom came downstairs was like, "Do you need help?" I was like, "See, I did it." But I didn't tell her I used the app. She just thinks I did it by myself.
Very good, very good. Um,
So
yeah,
we
so
use a trick. We make sure the dishwasher, my husband makes sure the dishwasher is unloaded before I go near the kitchen. Because then, as soon as I'm done with it, straight into the dishwasher. And I don't get in trouble for making a mess in the kitchen that way.
I tend to do the same. My routine is typically I run it at night. I empty it in the morning when my coffee's making. So then for the rest of the day, it's load everything in the dishwasher and then turn it on after dinner. Yeah. Yeah. So routine is going to be your friend. And habit
Yeah.
is going to be your friend.
I was going to say, this is Nancy. I know with my mom, not so much for vision impairment, but because of mobility, we got, they have these plastic trays that you can take for like your, that are sectioned out. They have like maybe one big section and then two smaller sections that we would fix her meal and put the food in the different sections so they didn't, she had, like I said, mobility, so she didn't
Hmm.
spill anything, or she kept everything separate. And of course, you can get those for travel and lunch, as well. But in case you need it for dining in, you can get those as well.
Oh
Thank
yeah.
you, Nancy. Those are great. I know I used to have that thing where you don't want your food to touch, and I would eat
Yes.
off those plates all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was just going to share really quickly. I had a very frustrating experience. I should have just called an actual person. I just didn't have time. But trying to find the expiration date, I was using my Meta glasses with the live AI session, and they just could not find the Chobani yogurt. They just could not find the expiration. And I just, I used to be able to use my magnifying glass, and that's just not an option anymore. So it's just kind of frustrating. I need to do a little bit better with maybe some labeling and stuff. But anyway, that's just me. Yeah, I just need to do a better job of labeling to make sure I don't end up wasting food.
I was gonna say no, it's not just you, but yeah, like we got to find that workaround, and like I said, Be My Eyes is handy. Trying to think of I tend to mark things as they come in. I try to write on them.
What
all
size
at
of the
once.
Chobani was it that you were looking for, Nancy?
It was, and I know when I bought it, I just need to ask my smart speaker friend, like how long you can keep it in the fridge. And I'm also going to just call a volunteer, but it's the little like 5-ounce cup. It's not
I get those.
I usually get the 32-ounce Greek yogurt, but I wanted something with a little bit of flavor. So I got the 5-ounce, 4.5 or 5-ounce one. And it's usually it's right under the rim or something. It's like, I know where it is. I just can't see it. It's like, okay, fine. And
I get those, but I've never looked to see where the expiration date is.
Yeah, they last
quite a long time.
It's probably on the cardboard, and the AI person, couldn't find it there either. I just need to do a better job of figuring out, I only have one left. I did a great job of eating it right up, and then I had one left. It's like, oh crap, I'm not going to waste that one. Anyway, thank you.
So I guess before we wrap up, I just want to, if anybody had any specific questions, definitely want to address those.
I put my hand up. We were late. So this is Sandra Pinnell. My mom, Jane, is the one that has the eye problem. She's sitting here next to me. And also mobility issues. She's quite elderly, living on her own. And so the challenge with food is to kind of set things up so that she can find them, open them, heat them up, eat them, and figure out what she's eating and what she's finding for like a 2-day period of time. So any suggestions on, organizing the refrigerator, on with plastics, it's a little tricky because if you put things in those containers we were just talking about, and then they get put in the microwave, you're going to end up more plastics. But if you put something in glass, it becomes heavy and hard to manage. So I think, I know that having all the food mixed up together where she doesn't know what she's eating is kind of an issue. Finding the food is an issue if no one's there to find it and fix it. So any thoughts along those lines, tricks of the trade?
Okay, so you mentioned several things, and everybody feel free to chime in. But my first thought is, if it's in the fridge in a glass container or any type of container, if it's clear, is she able to see what it is or no?
No, it's macular degeneration, so a big blob of not being able to see in the middle of eyesight. So anything that requires focus to read anything is out. I can see. She can see peripheral vision.
Okay, so my suggestion
of a container, maybe, but yeah.
So my suggestion would be placement. As far as even in the fridge, if she knows that the mains are here on the left and the sides are over here on the right, then at least having the idea that she's in the main stack when she transfers it.
Direction, that's reinforcing.
Sorry?
Yeah. That is kind of what she's asking us to do, so that's reinforcing.
Okay, and then to move things onto a microwave safe plate, but again, if it's contrasting, like great if it's meatloaf on a white plate, but not so good for mashed potatoes on a white plate. Like, am I making sense? So if she has contrasting plates to help her see better, or at least figure out where things are, and then the orientation of the plate, knowing. Which could be a bump dot, just knowing where the 6 o'clock on the plate is, like a dot placed underneath, or even if you don't have bump dots, a piece of Scotch tape, anything that's tactile that she could feel. placed underneath to give her, if this piece of tape is facing me, that's where, the main usually is, and the vegetables are on the sides. That's just off the top of my head. Does anybody else have any suggestions or thoughts?
Yeah, this
Sandra,
is
can I ask? I'm sorry, Sandy. Go ahead.
Okay, just real quickly, this is Sandy. I was going to suggest if you're preparing the food for your mom, and maybe I know glass can be heavy, but glass is good in the microwave. Maybe getting a lot of small glass Pyrex dishes. You can buy them that have plastic lids, and you could maybe put a piece of tape on the lid that says M for this. You're supposed to eat these foods Monday, T for Tuesday, because you said, you're trying to prepare food for a couple of days. And like Lynn said, the main supper dish things on in one area, the vegetables in another area, fruits or something. Is it maybe some way of organizing the fridge? But maybe if it's a small glass dish with an individual portion, would your mom be able to manage that from the fridge to the microwave? And I know glass gets heavy. I do realize that, but just the thought.
That's a good thought.
To also piggyback on that, my vision isn't exactly like your mom's, but without my lenses on, my complete center of my eye is blurred and stuff, so I can't make out a lot of stuff like her. So at first what my mom was doing was designating the refrigerator, and she also let the sighted people in the house know, like, do not move this, or if you move this, let her know it's moved. And she would fix stuff for me at least 2 days out, and I would just know the stuff kind of toward the bottom shelf was basically dedicated to me and my needs and what I needed. And the stuff in the front, she kind of did ours left to right. So the stuff on the left in the front was what she would fix for me for breakfast. Once I was finished with that, I would put the container in the microwave, and then next would be lunch. And the very thing closest to the back of the fridge would be dinner. Then on the other side would be the next day. So if I wanted to mix and match the meals, I knew I had 2 days worth of breakfast, 2 days worth of lunch, 2 days worth of dinner that way. And anything above that bottom shelf was basically not really for me. If I was up there, then I was just being nosy, messing around and stuff. But the bottom shelf, that's kind of how we did it, because with my vision, similar to how you described your mom's, the center of my eye is harder to see. So she also got three different color containers. So I knew red was for breakfast. We had a blue container. We knew that was for lunch. And then I had like a pinkish container that I knew was for dinner. So it would always be red, blue, then pink, and it would always be on the right and always on the left.
Yeah, that I see some nodding going on here, so thank you.
And
I had one
also,
thing, Sandra. I'm sorry, was it Sandra? You said your mom?
Yeah, Sandra and Jane, my mom's here.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey Jane, it's Nancy. I don't know if you guys are using a smartphone, but the Be My Eyes app actually has a way for you to create your own community. So you, Sandra, could be your mom's volunteer. So if she used Be My Eyes, she would I'm sorry, my chat's going off. If you wanted to become a volunteer through the community, it's not that you'd be a volunteer. It's just that you'd be your mom's community if you use Be My Eyes. And so she could just hold her phone up to the fridge and say, okay, what have I got left today? So there could be a way for you to remotely assist her. Is what I'm trying to say.
Smartphone. If she changed from her flip phone to a smartphone.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
And that might be a phase two. All these are great suggestions. So maybe this is something for the next step.
so QVC sells Temptations containers, and you can get clear glass ones that are small, like single serve size, and you can get different colored lids. So she's not trying to read anything. It's just if everything has a red lid, then I know it's the meat or the main portion, and if it has a green lid, her vegetables are in there. And they have like a little, so they click on the side, so it's easy for people who have mobility problems to close.
That's helpful. That's
right. And it has a
Yeah.
little small, like about a dime size vent that you can just pop open so you can put it right in the microwave and it's vented. So you don't have to worry about, covering it with a paper towel or whatever. You can put the whole, glass container with the top in the microwave. But, you can easily see the color of the top. You're not trying to read anything. And when you organize everything, you can say, Mom, here's your main dish, here are your vegetables, and, you can
Yeah, and I
color
want to
coordinate.
get a couple of other people who come into the house oriented in the same direction, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
frustration isn't like someone else mentioned that someone else comes in and changes things
Moves it
around.
all around. Right. Right. And puts her vegetables in the
Or it
red
might
and she
be,
thinks it's a
Right.
meat.
you've given me an idea too to look for shapes. There may be someone who sells containers in different shapes.
Mm-hmm.
Could have a triangle or a square and a circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
But-
Little
and
holes.
and the
Definitely
other important opportunity you have is to get rid of all of the mismatched containers and lids,
that.
because it's very hard to find the right lid for the right container among a whole bunch of different kinds.
Yeah.
So if you have like a set of half a dozen or whatever containers that all the lids fit all the containers, that is so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've kind of narrowed down to containers I know she can open because there's a lot she cannot open. So we have to be careful about things being in containers she can't open. So yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody. That was very helpful. Appreciate it.
Okay, so I guess we are almost at time unless, well, we're a little over now, but hopefully I really enjoyed speaking with you all. I got great ideas from you all. We will put links for the things that we talked about in the follow-up video that goes out. I'll make sure that Tara has the links for a lot of these things. And other than that, I'm going to sign off. If anybody else had anything else they wanted to say, you're welcome to now.
Happy cooking. Maybe we should share recipes.
Thank you.
Great meeting.
Good,
Thank you
good.
very
I'm glad.
much.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good
Good night.
night.
Great.
Hi,
Bye.
Frank.